Dr. Ryan Larsen is an associate professor and extension economist in the Department of Applied Economics at Utah State University. He specializes in farm and risk management, and he teaches courses in agricultural finance, risk management, and decision analysis. Dr. Larsen, welcome to Alfalfa U. Take it away, sir. We're all excited to hear about this research that you've got for us today.
Okay, well, I don't know if I agree that everyone's excited to listen to The Economist. I'm a realist, and I know that sometimes we're a little tough to listen to, but I'm excited to talk about this research that was conducted and some of the results. There's a lot of fun technology that is impacting alfalfa, and so I'm going to talk about this artificial steam technology today. So when we look at what I want to talk about today, I want to talk about the overall topic are this artificial steam, artificial humidity, but I want to talk about how you make a decision, how you decide whether to invest in technology on your farm, how you analyze it, how you should look at that. So I want to talk about that decision-making framework, key decision drivers. As you look at that decision, I'm going to look at a few different techniques to analyze it and how we can understand those. Then I'm going to apply those to these alternative steaming technologies and look at some of the key takeaways here. Now, when I analyze these technologies, whether it's the Dew Simulator or the Stately West Steamer, whatever that may be, I view them as risk-reducing technology. When we look on that quality risk side, right, being able to bale in a timely manner, just like the video said before that rain came in, right, that change in quality improved and was able to reduce that quality risk, and it coincided with the change in your price risk. As we know that alfalfa is very sensitive pricing-wise to quality changes, so by controlling quality, you're also able to control your price risk a little better. So this is just based on some research I found on looking at where should that relative humidity be. So between that 50 and 70% relative humidity is just a starting point. So that relative humidity between 50 and 70%. So you can see that. So this is the blue line right here, the blue line, and then that orange line is the max. So we're kind of, if we took an average between there, you can see that we get into that range about that 1 o'clock, right? And then we leave that range about 8. So best case scenario, that's our baling window. So we can use that to look at that baling window. Now, when you're making this decision, this is a key consideration that you need to think about is how much time, what's the risk of that time, and what am I willing to pay to reduce some of that risk? Think about this all from a managerial standpoint. How would you apply this to your own individual operation? So partial budgeting framework, as I said, it's a very simple but powerful tool. We really look at 4 different categories. Now, first off, when you're using partial budget, you have to understand that we're not going to analyze everything. There's some things that are going to remain constant. We want to just say what is being changed and what are the results of that being changed. So in this case, we're going to look at revenue generated by adopting the alternative. So just that change in revenue because of that. In addition, there could be additional costs from adopting this change. And so we're going to look at the revenue generated minus the cost of adoption. Now on the other side, on that right side over here, that's our other category. So we could also lose revenue by adopting the alternative, but we also could save costs associated with that. So now we're going to take that partial budgeting framework and we're going to apply it to these 2 different technologies, the steaming technology and the Dew Simulator technology. Now, when we look at that, what we want to do is we're going to look at this added income or added revenue. So the added revenue is going to be driven by the increased bale weights from incorporating this technology. Now, based on the research that was done, the steamer had an additional 258 pounds per acre, and the Dew Simulator had a 217 pounds per acre. So that's on a per acre basis. So to get to that, what we'll do to look at that change, we're just going to look at that additional pounds per acre times by our hay price to get to our change in revenue. Just simply looking at the change. But on the other side, we have some added costs. Where there's some costs with that steamer, we're going to look at the annual ownership cost plus our operating cost, and then the same with the dew simulator. We had to make a few assumptions. So here's the key assumptions on the right. We're going to assume that the 1,000 acres per baler. 4 cuttings per year. We're going to assume 250-gallon fuel cost. And then I use $200 a ton alfalfa price. Now, of course, as we know, that price could change for both fuel and alfalfa, but this is just simply our starting point. This is our baseline that where we'll begin with. Now, with partial budgeting, you have to assume that some things don't change. My operating cost to bale per acre is $9.76. That's going to remain fixed no matter if I'm using the dew simulator or the steamer. My operating cost to steam per acre is at $3.50. My dew simulator, DS stands for dew simulator, operating cost per acre is $2.21 an acre. And both of those are driven by the fuel used. With the dew simulator, it requires an extra tractor. And so we're going to have the labor and the operating costs associated with that extra tractor. I assumed a 100 horsepower tractor to pull that dew simulator. So that's incorporated in that $2.21 per acre. Benefits. So with that steamer, so now we want to get this on a per acre basis. So we're going to take that additional pounds per acre and times by that hay price. So the steamer benefits were at that $25.78 just because you get more yield, and then $21.7 for the dew simulator. So those are our benefits on a per acre basis. Now, I should have converted those costs were on an annual basis. And so I will convert those on a per acre basis to get to our net benefits. So now when we look at those net benefits per acre, so based on our assumption, remember this is our baseline, just on that certain scenario, that net benefits per acre for that steamer is right around $12 an acre. And for that dew simulator, it's at $16.28. What this chart is showing this is net financial benefit based on the number of acres. So we know that the steamer has a higher initial cost. And so that annualized cost of that steamer is a little higher. And same as that operating cost, it costs a little more to run that. Acres is a key piece here. When you're analyzing this for your own operation, the size of your operation is going to be a key decision for you. When we look at payback, so this is 2 different payback scenarios. In blue, that's $200 a ton for alfalfa, $220 a ton. So with payback for the steamer is just over 4.3 years. And then for that dew simulator, we're right at almost just 1.5 years. Now, if that price of that hay goes up, right, you're just basically lose a year. And then, right, that dew simulator is basically 1.3. So payback period, right, going back to that initial cost, right, up front, of course, that steamer is going to take a little longer to pay back than that dew simulator. From a managerial standpoint, technology, this type of technology provides flexibility that you would not have otherwise, right? So when I think about the driving that value of that this artificial dew, the steam, or the dew simulator, right? The key points that I think that you need to think about and discuss as an operation is that baling window, right? What is your local climate? What are the dew points? And what is the percent usage time associated with that, right? What if you only operated the steamer or that dew simulator 50% of the time, right? What would that do to your analysis of that investment? So that length of baling window is one of the key drivers, right, to understanding the value of this type of option. The key takeaway here is I think either technology has the potential positive financial impacts. As I analyze this data, right, either one has positive net financial benefits that are going to vary on size and type of operation. So with that, if you ever have questions about this study, about this presentation, you can always email me here.